If you're in a position where you've started your business, you've started to see your first signs of success, watch, because I will show you the exact reasons why some people just keep on winning and some people fail miserably. Because I've been in business now for 4 years and I've seen countless people just fail. And I sat down and broke down the exact reasons why some people fail at business, why they have to go back to their mom's basement, and why some just keep on winning. Why some just have success after success after success after success. It seems like they never lose. So, listen up. First of all, I want you to understand my journey. When I was about 16, I started my Instagram business, moved to Dubai, been living there for 3 years now. And yeah, life has been treating me well. I've had many failures, many successes, and I want to break it down for you so you can avoid failing. Because if I remember back to the times when I started out, there were so many people that started at the exact same time as me, but for whatever reason, they just disappeared. Like one of the guys that I was working with back then, he was on a similar level as me, was making more than enough money, more money than he could spend at the time. But now he lives back in his hometown, living in his parents' basement, playing soccer for his local village team. And that makes you think, how can that happen? And if you don't want to end up in your mom's basement playing soccer again, you better listen closely. Well, the first type of guy, this guy here, we'll go into why he loses everything. So, this guy just started making money. You just started making money. And you build the wrong habits. You go partying a bit too much. You smoke a bit too much shisha. You start just waking up late, going to bed late, mess up all your routines. You don't go to the gym. You don't hang out with new people. You just build the wrong habits. That's a big issue, because think about it. Most people that make money fast in our age, in the internet, they didn't come from money. They don't know how money works. So having the first lick of money can destroy them. If you look at these pictures here, this was me. I started having my first levels of success, went to Dubai, blew my money on Fendi, Dior, Versace, Rolex, whatever I saw. And I didn't build the wrong habits. Even though I blew my money, I didn't build the wrong habits. But this type of person, he just forgets about what got him there, because having extraordinary success doesn't come from ordinary actions. And if you go back to ordinary actions, then you will have ordinary results. As stupid as it sounds. But yeah, you have to keep your habits in check, especially when you get employees. Because I was at a point where I got my first employees, and I've never been so close to wrecking my whole business. Because at one point, my first employee just disappeared. For 2 weeks, he was gone. Never heard of him. I called him. Nothing happened. His area of the business, and he was doing a lot at that time in my business, I didn't hear of him. I was like, damn, what's happening? And then at some point, he finally reaches out and tells me, yeah, sorry, I had a personal emergency. And I realized, damn, this really showed me that I cannot just lay back. Because if I'm honest with myself, I was laying back and sort of relying on his presence and just laying back. And that gave me such an important lesson, which the most people miss totally. Because here, if you look at this amazing graphic, You need to find the sweet spot between being inside of this is your business. Between being inside of your business to see the processes that are happening, and at the same time being outside of your business to have a bird's eye perspective on things. And I was not inside of the business. I was only here. And this could have burnt and crashed me. But luckily, I caught myself falling, fixed the issue, and everything was good. But yeah, these people hire employees and just give them all the responsibility. Don't check their processes, lose sight over everything that's happening. Yeah, that's a very, very, very dangerous slope. We'll talk about that a bit later. Next point is that he thinks he's the hot shit, doesn't take advice anymore. And trust me, I could have done that. Because I was 18, living in Dubai, wearing a Rolex, living in a apartment on the 58th floor. I was doing pretty well. And when I looked at some of the guys, they have an ego that was 10 times bigger than themselves, think they've made it. Spoiler alert, they definitely didn't make it back then. Because I always like to have a metaphor that there's a mountain, okay? There is a mountain that you climb. When you start building success, no, we don't need red, we need green. There is a mountain you climb, okay? This is, let's say, the first 10K per month. This is the 10K per month mountain. 10K per month. And the issue is that there is a huge Mount Everest in front of you that you have to see, and you have to realize that you have a much bigger way to climb, that you're not there yet. Let's say this here is the 1M per month mountain, okay? And most people, when they arrive here at this point, when they have the first success, real success, especially if they don't come from money, they think they're the absolute hot shit that's being sold. But they don't even look at what there is still to climb. They just see what they have climbed, and then they crash, and then they go back to their mom's basement and play soccer. Do not be this type of guy. Okay. So, the next point is pretty similar, but he thinks that he's the most successful in his friend group. That's a very dangerous thing to think, or that's a very dangerous thing to be, because if you're constantly the most successful person in your group of friends, you're doing the most revenue, you have the biggest success in business, you get this massive blown up ego. It's very important to get yourself humbled from time to time. And if you don't have the right friends around you, then you'll never get humbled. You'll always think, I've climbed this small mountain, easy, light work. No one ever tells you what you're doing wrong. No one ever tells you that you've become arrogant. No one ever tells you that you're just blowing all your money. No one ever tells you that you're not doing the work with your employees properly. So yeah, that's a very, very big risk. And you need to make sure that you have people around you that are doing better than you, that are a few steps ahead of you, that you can learn from. Yeah, or else you'll just fail miserably. The next type of guy. This, I just put it in for the memes, because this could have been me. But there's one simple difference. And this guy, he goes on one trip and burns all of his money and stops working. Stops working is very important. Because I also went to Dubai and blew pretty much all the money I had, but I kept working and I kept my head low and kept grinding out what I needed to grind out. This is not meant in a weird way. But I just kept working. And that's the comical thing about it. Most people make their first 10 grand a month, travel to Dubai, burn it all at Fendi, Gucci, Dior, Prada, whatever, and they think they're the hot shit, and they stop working, or they work less, or they lose the momentum they've had. So this is a very dangerous path. I will go into my story and my failures a bit later. Now I want to tell you about the guy that keeps on winning, which I would assume is me, else I wouldn't be sitting here. I'm sitting here in my beautiful 5-star resort in Croatia. Yeah, or else I wouldn't be sitting here. I've been doing this stuff for now over 4 years. 5 years, actually. And I followed these specific points, and I want you to follow them as well, so you don't end like you're a miserable soccer player living in your mom's basement. So this guy that keeps on winning, he sets new goals, and he's never in this happy high state. Like, he's never like a little emotional bird jumping up around his success, because that's literally what most people are when they start becoming slightly successful and making more money than they've ever had before. They become this little floppy bird that is super emotional about everything, and that just think they figured it out. So I never really was in that phase. I always was rather humble and seeing that I have to achieve more. When I was making 10 grand a month, I saw someone that's making 400. When I was making 6 figures a month, I was like, whoa, there's people that make millions a month. You know what I mean? This is so important, that your goals are always set higher, that you keep on pushing, that you're not laying back and content. Honestly, I'm never content. And this is a hard lesson to learn. You'll never be content. You'll never sit there and think, yeah, I made it. That will literally never happen. So get ready for it. You will never feel like you've completed life, like you've gone through the game of business. That will not happen. I built my employees in a proper way, and I caught myself when I was falling, like I just explained earlier. The best way to build up a proper employee is by, first of all, mastering the skill yourself. If you have a social media marketing agency and you want to hire your first employee, you need to put this employee in a position that you have perfected. And then you sort your tasks, because you have to understand that every task can be sorted into a brain task and a muscle task. Let me try to sketch this down. Okay. Yeah, I definitely wasn't the best artist, but there's 2 types of tasks, the brain and the muscle. And what does brain task mean? It's the creative, thought-intensive tasks that are needed in business, and the muscle are literally the hard work, execution type of tasks. And most people, they get their first employee and they think, just they show him what they're doing, and they just let him do pretty much everything. You need to differentiate, and you need to understand what the tasks are that you want this person to learn. And then let him take over the muscle tasks first, before you get into the brain tasks. So what does that mean specifically? If you have a social media agency, let him take over the simple tasks. Let him be your right hand. See this person more as like a management assistant. Let him send the cold calls. Let him contact potential leads. Let him do the simple stuff where there's no visions, no concepts needed. This is super important. And then with time, you can gradually increase the responsibility and increase the tendency to do both of these things. Because a perfect employee will obviously have certain capabilities to do both of these things. But do not use an employee to work less. Use an employee to work better and smarter and work more on the important things. That's so important, because most people see their employees, or when someone hires their first employee, they sit back and think, I've done it. I can just chill. My business works by itself. But that's such a dangerous, slippery slope that you can slide down, because you need to realize that an employee will make your day-to-day more freed up, But you have to use this free time. You should work more. You should use this time to develop new concepts, to create new ideas, to find bottlenecks in your business. This is specifically what you should do in this time. You should take over the CEO role. And if you're wondering why I'm sweating, it's like 30 degrees and I turned off the AC, so it's not like super loud in this video. So yeah, that's why I'm sweating and it's super hot. The next point, and you've seen, this is only a few of my cars, but this person buys gifts and toys as a reward. Because I can tell you, every single watch I own, every car I own, every trip I've went on, every material thing is tied to a milestone. Because what does this do? It always reminds you of your hard work and your success. For example, every time I see this watch, I remember one specific event in business where I told myself that if I reach this goal, I will buy this watch. And every time I look at this watch, I think I've owned this watch for 1 or 2 years. Every time I look at this watch, I'm reminded of the fact that hard work gets me rewards. So this is very important, because if you make, let's say, 30 grand a month and blow it all on a Rolex day date in your first month or second month, that's just not good, because you have a weird relationship with money. But if you tell yourself, okay, I have a social media agency, I have a dropshipping store, I have whatever business you have. If I reach goal X, I will buy reward Y. That gives you a clear goal and a clear path you can follow, because it also helps you with motivation. Because if you sit down and are not really motivated, don't really feel like working, plot twist, that's like 9 out of 10 times I work, it's never really fun. It's always just work. Get used to it. But that's just what it is. But the thing is that if you have a specific goal in mind and a reward that will come from this goal, then you will find the motivation. But let's say you want to buy Rolex Daytona, and you tell yourself, if I close 100K of clients, $100,000 worth of clients, I will buy this Rolex Daytona. Then you will think, I really want this watch. Okay, I'll keep working. But if you just, for some reason, somehow, over the course of 2 or 3 months, close 100K worth of clients, and then you just buy the watch because why not? Then you're just wasting potential and motivation and momentum you could have built. So yeah, this successful person that keeps on winning uses rewards, toys, gifts, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, gifts, toys as rewards. This is the most important point. This person encounters failures and hardships and keeps going. Because business is literally about failing. This is a core concept of my thinking, that business is literally about failing and getting up. Because there's no business in this world that has never had hard times, that has never had hardships, that has never had failures, that where the CEO never had thoughts of ending it all. I'm not just kidding, but I've been close. Let me tell you that. It's just part of the game. And there's 2 types of people. One type of person encounters a problem and is like, bring it on, and let me learn from my mistakes. Let just deal with it. And then there's the other type of person that just loses sight and gets his mind turns depressed. He has a blurred focus. He cares emotionally. Like, you should not care about problems emotionally. You should care about them mentally and think like, okay, I gotta do this, and this, but not become like an emotional little twitchy bird, because that's what most people become that don't have success in business. So yeah, this is it for this part. Now I'm gonna go into my story. This has been the past 4 years, very simply broken down, including the most important lessons I've had that you can directly implement. So, your business starts going well, and you start making 5 to 10K per month. This is me here. I'm very happy, very, very excited. For the first time of my life, I could afford expensive steaks. I didn't have to think twice if I can buy a drink with my kebab or not. I could get a whole meal. I could even get 2 meals. That was a very nice time. I always say, I think the first time you hit 10K per month is probably the happiest state you have. Because the correlation of new freedoms and the problems and risks you have is still fairly low. And it just goes up. The money goes up, the stress goes up. That's just part of the game. And here, the biggest risk you have is that you start blowing all your money and don't make more money. Like, trust me, I've blown so much money, even on very stupid stuff, but I've always made more. That's the crucial part. Most people don't. And also, if you look at their Instagram is 10 times better than their real life. I'd say Instagram is like 5% of my life, and my Instagram is damn good. So yeah, don't go out and blow all your money without making more money. I'm all for it to go out and, let's say, force yourself to death ground, to force yourself to make more money. Go out and buy that car, go out and buy that watch, if you make more money afterwards. Most people don't. And then the next crucial point in this journey is your business has been going well and you start to make new friends who can teach you new things. Then the biggest risk is that you are too high and happy on your success and don't associate with new people because they don't understand you, they just want to criticize you, they were lucky. Whatever you tell yourself, that's so stupid and that will force you to fail. So make sure that you learn, because every person can bring you a different train of thought, especially if they're successful in their specific venture they've chosen. So respect the people and let them help you. Even if you, let's say, if you have an online business and you know this old grumpy grandpa that has a factory that produces cars or screws, that has a factory that produces screws. This guy can help you. Maybe not with everything. Maybe you shouldn't imitate him on every little thing he tells you, but he can give you advice. He can help you about hardships, failures, identifying business partners, whatever. But be open to learn from new people, because most people just put their head down, don't want to get to know anyone, don't go out and meet people. Trust me, in this period of time, like maybe I'd say this was the first year and this was the next 1 or 2 years, I went out and met so many people. And this taught me so much, because everyone has different, like, many ways lead to Rome. Many ways lead to success, and everyone can tell you about the battle scars they've had from the journey. So you have to associate with new people. It's so important. And then you're at the next crucial point, where you are at a point where you hire your first employee, and he or she makes your life easier. Either, like I said earlier, either you use this newly gained freedom to sit back and relax, or to work harder and smarter, and more and better. That's the next crucial part. And now the last crucial part, that is super important, is you face your first big problem, where you literally think of just ending it all. Like, this is a bit over dramatical, but you will face problems where you just want to bury yourself and just sleep for 3 days. This will happen. You will have this level of stress. Let me assure you of that. That's the question, how you handle it. Do you handle it like a man? Do you just embrace the stress, embrace the war, and just bite on your teeth and go through it with it? Or do you lose yourself? Do you start drinking? Do you start taking drugs, whatever, and crash? So this is specifically what you can do. To sum it up, to give you the most important points, you always have to set new goals and keep your vision aligned. Think of the Mount Everest that you have to climb. You need to build the proper employees. You need to have material goods, toys, as rewards. You have to have the right people around you that keep you humble, that keep you inspired. And whenever you encounter failures and hardships, you just need to thug it out and work through it without becoming an emotional floppy bird. That's it for this video. I hope that you like this style of video. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.